What's good? It's your boy, Mixtape Moth, and today I'm gonna hit y'all with a review of the new Boldy James album entitled Real Bad Boldy. Let's get to it. Detroit rapper and Griselda signee Boldy James is back with his fourth album of 2020. To say he's had an impressive year might be a bit of an understatement. Both his The Price of Tea in China and Manger of McNichols albums were very well received. He had a lot of striking features throughout the year as well. And while I didn't particularly care for the Versace tape with Jay Versace, it did help to give him some more exposure. You know, I've seen a lot of criticism directed at Boldy James on Twitter as of late. I guess it's the popular thing to do to say that he has a boring and monotonous flow. And look, I think we can all agree that he does have a deadpan and somewhat sleepy delivery, but if you can get past that, he's actually one of the best lyricists in the game. On every album this year, he has given us high quality street lyricism and well-crafted coke rap. But anyway, let's get straight into this new album entitled Real Bad Boldy. This project was produced entirely by the Los Angeles production crew and clothing designers known as Real Bad Man. It's a different look for Boldy since he's mostly known for his work with The Alchemist, but I like the sonic flavor that Real Bad Man brought to the table. The beats have a faster BPM than what Boldy typically gets, which I think brings his flow more to life. And as a fan of sample-based production, I think these guys hit it out the park. There are quite a few attractive soul samples as well as eclectic and psychedelic instrumentals. Basically, there wasn't a dull moment sonically. It's a pretty flavorful album. This tape is just under 30 minutes in length. It's 10 tracks, so it's a real quick listen. As far as features go, he's got Mayhem Loren, Stove God Cooks, Ito, Mooch, and Riggs of The Cloth. But with that being said, let me hit y'all with this track-by-track breakdown. Track 1, entitled Real Bad Boldy, is a strong opener. The sample is pretty eerie and distorted sounding. Boldy's using a rhyme scheme involving the numbers 1, 2, and 3. It's kind of clever. He states, counting up pros in the coupe, answer the third ring. You in second line, I'm first string. Fighting 2 counts of first-degree murder at 13. So I think this was a good way to kick things off. Track 2, Light Bill, has a crazy sample. It sounds like a warped harmonica was added to the drum loop. It's a knocking beat that gave me somewhat of an Alchemist vibe. Made in 4/4, had to hit him with the Ready Rock, splash it with the cold water. That's a belly flop. Crack the Rex, had to whip it in the jelly jar, put the bricks in the trunk, then we trail the car. So Boldy is breaking down the process of cooking up and shipping out that work. This features a pretty solid verse from Mayhem Loren, who always comes through with the fly criminology raps. I came up with criminals, killers, and krill servers, diamond covered bracelets, crushed in the concealed burner. Track 3, 1,000 Pills, is definitely a highlight. You already know that Stove God Cooks is kind of viewed as the rookie of the year. Well, it's not his first year in the game, but he is looked at as one of the hottest youngins out. I like the plush boom bap production. It has somewhat of a nocturnal vibe. Boldy states, make you walk the plank. Know my guys take it overboard. Concreature, Drug Zone, 76 Overlord. Stove God said, I had the feds tap dancing in my ear before Rick Rubin had a beard. Before Mac felt it in the air. Stove God is a problem. As long as I can remember, Rick Rubin was rocking the beard, and I'm much older than Stove God. And of course, he's referencing Beanie Sigel with the before Mac felt it in the airline. That's if you didn't know which Mac he was referring to. While Boldy had a strong verse, Stove God just has his way of taking over other people's songs, but this was definitely a dope joint. After this, we have the song Failed Attempt. This has a really punchy instrumental with an organ sampled throughout. I really like Boldy on this up-tempo production. Can't even call a fiend a custy who do not spend. Connected in the streets, but in the clink, you know I'm locked in. The price is too high on the pack. I had the sales quoted. They asked me how I write my raps. I say, the scale wrote it. And that's the thing about Boldy. He's only rapping about it if he lived it. Thought the scale line was hard. Up next, we have Little Vicious featuring Ito. This has a chill woodwind infused beat. I like the xylophone also. I'm a sucker for xylophones in my hip hop. Ito had a dope verse. He rarely disappoints, and I think his grimy flow complemented this smooth production. Boldy, of course, came through with some detailed hustling raps. Then right after this is the track On 10. This has one of the liveliest and funkiest beats on the tape. If you listen carefully, you can tell that they used the same sample from Wu-Tang's Tears, and you can't go wrong with that sample. Track 7, Held Me Down, has Boldy reflecting on his street days. He's acknowledging that few people have really ever been there to hold him down. This has a pretty ghostly vocal sample throughout. It's a pensive beat, which manages to make Boldy's tales sound even more vivid. And to quote Jeezy, "You guys just write, I recollect," and that line pretty much reflects the kind of artist who Boldy is. His raps all come from lived experiences. What follows is the record Street Shit. On top of this jazzy synth production, he's talking about really being in the field, really being from the trenches. I thought the hook really sums this up best. You never seen a blow syringe or a fiend sick, or seen what a junkie will do to get a clean hit. All my pain tailor fit from the seamstress. Thought he was illy till I hit him with the remix. That's how I know dudes ain't really on no street shit. The second to last song is Good Foot featuring Mooch and Riggs of The Cloth. Now, if you haven't heard The Cloth, they are a supremely slept on crew coming out of Rochester. Mooch and Riggs, of course, are the two nicest out that clique. So the production on this track is fire. It sounds like they flipped two Wu-Tang samples. I'm detecting the sample used in GZA's Shadow Boxing as well as the one used in Raekwon's Molasses. You know, that track he had with Ghostface and Rick Ross. But I'm sure the Wu heads will love this record for the beat alone. I thought Mooch and Boldy had strong verses, but to me it was Riggs who stood out the most. He said, "A lot of rappers can rap, yeah, but that ain't this, and gotta stay on point in this evil terrain. Judges don't give a fuck, they just reading the name." This album closes out with Champion. This has a celebratory sample with some punchy drums. Can't wait until my day come. I love to play dumb. Now, it seems that Boldy is hip to one of the 48 laws of power, which is seem dumber than your mark. You know, sometimes it's good to have that element of surprise on people. Overall, I give this album a rating of 4 out of 5. I thought it was a really fun listen. Not that the content was fun in a lighthearted way, but the production was livelier and more eclectic than what we get on most Boldy albums. Now, I'm obviously a big fan of soul sample production, especially when it's knocking, and this album had that in full abundance. So on the production tip, I enjoyed what I heard. Boldy is a really slept on lyricist. I think his flow was slightly more animated this time around. Now, not by much, but enough to where he had more of a presence. I also enjoyed how Boldy took us back to his own personal reasonable doubt phase. And what I mean by that are his hustling days, as there were many vivid accounts of Boldy's past as a street pharmacist on this album. While this album might not be as polished or as ambitious of a body of work as, let's say, The Price of Tea in China, it ended up being my second favorite Boldy project of the year. My favorite tracks include 1,000 Pills, Little Vicious, On 10, Held Me Down, Street Shit, and Good Foot. Let me know what you thought about this project in the comment section below. What should I check out next? It's your boy, Mixtape Moth. I'm signing out, but be sure to hit that like button and please subscribe. As always, it's peace and blessings. Boldy James, Real Bad Boldy 1.